Hi, Amanda. James Carter here with Be Legendary. You had a question about an activity, a couple of suggestions for an activity for 50 people with roughly 30 minutes. So, communication really, we kind of need to break that down into at least several pieces. And really, it depends upon what kind of communication you're looking for. Is it the communication between the two of us? Is it the way that I'm communicating with others? Is it the way that departments are communicating with one another? So depending upon what your outcome is there, it would shift the activity that you're really wanting to do. However, with that short of time, one of the things I really enjoy doing is an activity that would involve all 50 people at the same time in one single activity without having to break them up. Anytime you're limited on time and breaking people up, you have all that people moving time, which just wastes time. So instead of doing that, I like to do something that's with everyone there. So here's one suggestion for you. This one is called Team Shackles. And the idea is that people are paired up and they actually have to become unshackled from one another. And you put time pressure on them, typically about 15 minutes, for them to become unshackled. And you and I would work together in pairs. And we would, of course, want to be first to finish, right? So, woo, we're finished, we're first, like that sort of thing. And what's great is that the facilitator would come over and help us, let's say, and give us a hint or two, stand too close to us, and then eventually help us get out. And we can walk through that if this sounds like it makes good sense. Well, what happens is that once you and I get out, we step back and we look at the rest of the group. And we laugh and we point and we're like, oh my gosh, look at them. They're stepping over each other's backs and they're doing these really hysterically funny things to try and become unshackled, when really it's a very simple solution. What we don't do is help. You and I have information that was given to us by another person that would benefit someone else. These are our people. Why wouldn't we just offer everyone help? Why wouldn't we walk up to everyone and say, hey, let me help you. I've got the solution. Let me show you how to get out. But we don't. Now, here's another flip side of this, is that every other pair out there that's working on this can see, or most of them can see, that you and I are out. We have the solution. Why wouldn't they turn around and say, hey, James, Amanda, can you come help us? Show us how to get out. But they don't. So there's this whole unwritten rule about asking for help and offering help. And it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. This unwritten rule that, I'm supposed to be good at my job. And so if I ask you to help me on something, then I'm afraid of what you'll think if I do ask for help. On the flip side, if you come up to me, let's say we have the same job and we're peers and there's something that you know that can help me. And you come up to me and you're like, James, I totally have this great thing. It totally worked out. You know what? I know how to do my job. No thanks, Amanda. Appreciate it. Because I'm taking it as you're trying to tell me how to do my job when I'm good at my job. I'm supposed to be good at my job. This is also, it's called a rule, a bullshit rule. And we're afraid of asking and offering for help. This is just horrible. This is one of the worst things that can happen in an organization, is there's this unwritten culture and this belief system that occurs that we're not allowed to ask and offer for help. It's silly. So that's one activity. That activity is called Team Shackles. It's wonderful. It's fun. It's funny. People voluntarily give up their body space, but you don't tell them to in order to achieve the goal. Lots of great things come from that. So earmark that. And another activity that's absolutely fantastic is called Who Are You? And Who Are You is one of those, oh, silly, oh my gosh, this is so dumb, I can't believe this activity. But once again, it's something that you can do in a big, large group. And again, we pair up and we would have people... Let's say you and I are paired up. We would have person A ask person B a question, and person B would answer. Person A would ask person B the same question again, and over again for 60 seconds. That question is, who are you? So I would ask you, if I'm person A, who are you? And you would answer. I would say, then once you're done, I would say, who are you? And you would answer. Who are you? And you would answer. Who are you? Just like that. And so I like to demonstrate. I say, okay, so if you're asking me, who are you? I'm James Carter. Who are you? I'm the father of Isabella and Cameron Carter. Who are you? I'm a facilitator with Be Legendary. Like that, right? So you just keep going until the facilitator yells switch at 60 seconds, in which case Now, I ask you or you ask me, vice versa, whoever was doing it. So we do that. We get a little bit of feedback. What was that like? How did it feel? All that sort of thing. And now we move into the next piece, which, okay, we're going to do this again. But I want you to switch partners, okay? And this time, I want you to provide an internal descriptor of who you are, right? So another example, and I always provide examples, is if you were my partner A, you'd say, who are you? I am a loyal friend to a fault. Now, if you knew me for a long time, you would know that to be true, and maybe you have even taken advantage of me a little bit from time to time, because I am a loyal friend to a fault. Now, I'm offering up something out here. I'm taking a baby step into that risk arena, but we're communicating in a very structured way. Okay, so then we go through that one more time, 60 seconds, switch, 60 seconds again, and we get feedback. And you have two sides here. Some people are like, oh my gosh, that was so hard. That was unbelievably hard. And other people are like, whoa, I can't believe how much I learned about my partner in 60 seconds. That was just amazing. At which point we talk about communication. We talk about the 3 levels of communication because we've just experienced level 1 and level 2. Level 1 really is where we spend the bulk of our time, and that's absorbed in roles and roles and titles and what I do kind of thing. So what do you do? I'm a teacher. What do you do? I'm a facilitator. What do you do? I'm an X. I'm a father. I'm lots of roles, lots of titles. The second one really is much closer to who I am, right? And I'm having to dig deep. That's what makes it hard. And you don't care if it was hard or not, right? I mean, we want it to be challenging because we want people to work on this. But whatever they say, whether it was hard, that's what you don't care about. It's great that they admit it. But regardless, you're just going to take it at face value and not argue with any of the feedback. And then you say, you know what? Here are the 2 levels. Level 1, level 2. We're going to do this one more time, in which everyone will go, oh, and just groan. And yes, this is level 3, communication. And what I want you to do is start off by answering the question with I value or I believe. So here's an example. If you're my partner, your partner A, I would have them switch again. So they're going to switch 3 times. So they're going to have 3 different partners. And you would say, who are you if you're my third partner? I value my time in the outdoors. Who are you? I believe that raising my children is the most important job in my life. Who are you? I believe if I lost 15 pounds, I'd feel much better about myself. At which point, believe it or not, people laugh. They chuckle. There's a chuckle in the audience. But I do this on purpose, and I set this up very clearly because the first answer, I value my time in the outdoors. How risky is that? And it's not really. It's actually kind of a level 1 answer, but I'm completing the statement, right? I'm doing what I've been told. And so you want to allow people to do that, right? The second one, I believe that raising my children is the most important job in my life. How risky is that? Well, I mean, what parent doesn't believe that? It's a step in the right direction from the first answer. The third one, if I lost 15 pounds, I'd feel much better about myself. At which point, people laughed at me. And I say this, I use that example. There was laughter in the room. So I could take that any number of ways. One would be, no, man, it's like 30 pounds. Right? You know what? You got a little bit more than 15 pounds to lose there. The other thing would be that chuckle of self-recognition. You're laughing with me and you're saying, yeah, man, me too. Me too. In which case, tonight, let's assume that this is some kind of meeting, and tonight we go out and we're having dinner, and I have a beer, and I go to order a second one and says, hey, man, you really want that second beer? As in, right? Or it could be like, hey, I'm looking out for you. You know, you said you wanted to lose some weight. Let me just give you that reminder. So what we need to do in this activity is very clearly state that you take a risk. I want you to push yourself, but I don't want you to become terrified. And also the things that are said here, I don't want anyone to use those against anyone else. So we're going to assume that everything that's said from this point forward is all in appreciation. Everyone is laughing with me, saying, yes, me too. I want to be healthier too. So we're all going to assume the very best in the responses that we get. They go through, and I actually give them about 75 seconds on each one of these. So 75 seconds, and then you'll switch, and then another 75 seconds. And it's astounding. At the end of this, I have had people come up to me, I kid you not, saying that their lives are completely different, that they have completely shifted the direction in their life and everything else. And it's because we don't take time to really consider what our beliefs are. And we think we know them. And we have this under this general idea of what our beliefs are, but we don't actually know because we reach a point in our lives in which we're just too damn busy. We're too busy to really think at that level anymore. We're just trying to get through the day, right? I mean, I have 200 emails, I have 15 phone calls to make, and I have all the errands I have to do before I go home and make dinner, and that's all I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about my beliefs and values. And so what we're doing here is allowing people to see what those 3 levels are. Now, here's the choice when we're done. What level do we want to operate in? The 50 of us. What if all of us knew each other at that level 3 basis? How much more productive would we be? How much more would we enjoy work? How much more awesome would the rest of our day together be if we knew everyone at that level? And what it takes is desire. That's it. It just takes the desire for me to make the time to get to know every single person at that level. And it doesn't take that long. Here was 60 seconds. And if you and I did this together, I'm telling you, we would feel like old friends. It's the coolest thing. So those are 2 examples of activities that you could absolutely use. And they're both in the DIY Team Center. I'm going to send you a link to that. You should definitely join that if you're doing activities at all on a regular basis, or even doing warm-ups or any kind of short discussions and weekly meetings, that kind of thing. So the first one is Team Shackles. The second is Who Are You? I'll send you links to those too. But thanks for your question. I hope this helps. I know it was a long one, but they both deserve some explanation. So thanks for your question, and we'll talk to you soon. Be legendary.